welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Liv, and today we're going to be doing a chit chat, kind of get to know me Valentine's Day look. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start with priming my face, and I'm going to use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty and then put a couple drops of the Wet n Wild priming serum on them. And this is just going to help hydrate the skin and kind of give it that dewy, glowy look. So if you're wondering why I started a YouTube channel, I started it because I love watching YouTube. It's like my favorite thing besides, like, obviously I watch TV, but watching YouTube is just like super calming to me, and I get so inspired watching other people create things. And so I wanted to do the same thing. I love documenting my life and making videos, and I wanted to get better at editing and creating content. I wanted to start a YouTube channel since I was like a kid, and I first got into YouTube when I was in like 6th grade. Funny fact, actually, I did start a YouTube channel in middle school, and then I think it was like my freshman or sophomore year of high school. Some people found out about it, and I got really embarrassed, so I deleted it. Honestly, thank God, because yeah, those videos are like not good looking back on it now. But now I'm just kind of at a point in my life where I just don't really care what people think, which is an amazing place to be at in your life. And so I'm like, why the heck not? Why not do it? Why not get started? Then I'm just gonna take my Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer and just use this as like a primer on my eyelids. I'm gonna do my eyes first. That's just what I normally do because I'm normally very messy with eyeshadow. And I'm going to do my face afterwards so that I can like clean anything up that I need to. But yeah, I guess I'm just kind of like growing into my own this year, and I'm really trying hard not to care what anybody thinks, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what anyone thinks about you as long as you love yourself and are doing what you're passionate about. Then why should it matter what anybody else thinks? If people don't like what you're posting, if people think that it's cringy, if people don't want to see it, then they can unfollow you and they don't have to watch it. But the people that do like it and that support you will stay on that roller coaster with you and support you through anything that you decide to do with your life. And those are your ride or die people, and those are the people that you want to stay in your life. And we have that other negative energy, you don't need it. That's just kind of what I've decided for myself this year. So just go for it, and who cares what anybody thinks, because if it's making me happy and I like what I'm doing, then why do I care if anybody else likes it or not, you know? First, I'm going to take the Tartelette in Bloom eyeshadow palette, and this is what it looks like. And I'm just gonna kind of use these as transition shades before I use a different palette for more pinks and shimmers and stuff. So I'm just going to mix this neutral light brown with this kind of rosy blush color and just put that all over my crease. But back to what I was saying, I just think that there's way too much crap in the world going on, and there's just way too much devastation and sadness to not be doing what you love, and you never know at any point what could happen, and life is really short and it's really precious. And so I feel like if you waste your time caring what people think, you're never gonna do what you want to do, and at the end of the day you're just gonna look back on life and be like, man, I really wish I wouldn't have cared as much what everyone thought about me and done what made me happy. Sorry for my little rant, but I'm just very passionate about that. And for anyone wondering, I always do my brows like pretty much last, because when I'm putting on bronzer and foundation and stuff, I always end up hitting my brows and moving them. So if I do them first, I kind of have to redo them anyway. So I just always do those last. Then taking the BH Cosmetics Blush Neutrals palette. I got this from my best friend Lexi. I think I'm gonna take this shade right here and put that in my crease as well. But talking more about doing what you want to do with your life, for anyone that doesn't know, I am 22 years old. I moved to Nashville 2.5 years ago. I'm from a really small town in Wisconsin, and like a kind of town where like everybody knows everyone sort of deal. And I just knew that I didn't want to stay there, and I didn't want to raise my kids there, and I knew that I wouldn't succeed in my career the way that I could somewhere else. And Nashville just seemed like a very fun city, and it's like really, really booming now. Like there's a lot of people. I think someone told me that there's like 200 people moving here a day, which is kind of insane. So I started working at a salon down here, and I was an assistant for like 6 months, and then COVID hit. which is fun. So then during that time, moved back home. I still had my apartment here, but I just moved back home for the time that I thought that we were going to be shut down, just so I could be around my family and I didn't have to be like sitting at home alone. And then our salon was shut down for like a month and a half. And then I moved back here once we reopened and started working there. And then over time, I realized that it's just not what I wanted anymore. The salon was growing in ways that I didn't really suit with and I didn't really think would help me grow as a person, you know, which is just as important as, you know, how you would grow in your career. I feel like how you would grow as a person within your career is almost more important than just how you would grow in your career in general. And so I decided to leave that space and open up my own space, which is where I'm at now. And Kirsten, my coworker, was one of my old coworkers at the other salon as well. And so we just rent our own salon space now, and it's the best. Now I'm going to take this purple shade and put that more in the outer corner. I wouldn't change anything that I did for the world. It was the best decision I could have made for myself. I miss my family, I miss my friends, but I talk to them all the time. I still go home and visit, or they'll come and visit me. And my life is really great. I've grown so much as a person, so much in my career. I've met so many amazing people, and I am just very blessed for the life that I have and the opportunities that I've had because I moved away from the town that I grew up in. So if that's something that you're thinking about and you're hesitating, I say just do it. Just do it. You won't regret it. And if you do, you can always move back home, you know? Like, that's the best part about anything, is that if you make a decision and you want to change and then it turns out that that change wasn't how you thought it would be and it isn't going how you want it to, you can always go back home. You can always go back, make a new move, make a new plan for yourself, you know? You have the ability to literally do anything that you want in your life, and that's the coolest freaking thing on this entire world, is you have the power to change your whole life, and it's all up to you. So it's just kind of how much you want it, I guess. Now taking this lighter pink shade, I'm gonna go in and kind of blend everything out, and I'm gonna bring that above all the colors that I just put on to melt everything together really nice and make it blend seamlessly. It's always good to start your eyeshadow going from lighter to darker and then taking lighter shades and bringing up that line. So you want to kind of normally use lighter shades first to transition, and then go into your deeper shades, and then when you're blending out those deeper shades, use a lighter tone to just blend everything really nicely. Now taking this really pale pink nude shade, I'm going to put that all over my lid where I don't really have any of that pink to lay it down as a base before I do shimmers. So basically, I was gonna ask everyone questions, like I was gonna post something like, hey, I'm doing a get ready with me thing, like a chit chat one, so if you have like any questions you want me to answer, like let me know. But I didn't think about doing this tutorial until at like 12:30 last night, and that didn't really leave much time to ask people that. So I'll do that in the future, but I just looked up kind of random questions online for get ready with me videos that people might, I don't know, be interested in knowing about yourself. And so I'm just gonna answer some of those, and then in a future video I'll ask people questions of like what they want to know. So then for my lid over that base that I just put on, I'm gonna mix this Stila liquid eyeshadow and this e.l.f. liquid eyeshadow, and this is gonna be a little bit more pink and it's gonna be a little bit more silver, so it's just gonna create a beautiful glow if I mix them together. The Stila one is in the shade Kitten Kaleidoscope, and the e.l.f. one is in Disco Queen. So first question is, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? Obviously, I've lived in Wisconsin, here in Nashville now. I do not plan on staying in Nashville my whole life. I want to stay here for a couple more years and then I want to go somewhere else. I honestly would love to travel the entire world if I could. I just love traveling, and so I would really honestly love to live outside of the US at some point. Like London would be amazing, or like somewhere in Europe would be really cool, I think. Probably do that at some point, but we're just gonna see where life takes me. I love doing hair. I love the whole beauty industry as a whole, and I would love to stay in this industry, but if that means that I'm not doing hair forever, not working as a cosmetologist forever, that doesn't really scare me. I'm just gonna take a little bit more of this e.l.f. liquid eyeshadow and just layer it over top of what I just put on, because it's not super dramatic. It gives like a really subtle glow. It's not too intense, so I knew that if I put it on by itself, it like wouldn't be enough. But laying it over top of this will be perfect. I want to do something in the digital creator world, whether that be doing reels on Instagram, things like that, or having my YouTube channel. I would love to be able to make a career out of that and be able to work remote and travel anywhere that I want and make content like that is what I would love to see myself doing in the future, just because with wanting to travel and live other places, being a cosmetologist doesn't always suit that, because then you just have to start all over wherever the next place is that you go, because obviously my clients wouldn't just follow me to London, you know what I mean? I just don't want to get to that point where I have to start all over, start from the beginning, step one, work in a salon, create my clientele from there, and then whatever. I just love what I'm doing now, and I'm so present in that right now, and I want to keep learning and growing and continue that for a while. But wanting to move somewhere else, having a remote job would be so amazing, and allowing myself to travel and make money making videos and creating content that I love to do would be a dream for me. I would love to do that. I feel like that's kind of always been a dream of mine, and right now is when I'm really trying to start taking it seriously, and so I feel like there's no better time to start than in the present. So now I'm going to take my ColourPop black with liquid eyeliner and just create a nice wing. This is another time when that tape comes in real handy, because I can be very messy when it comes to this sort of stuff. Now I'm going to take the tape off and finish up, you know, fixing any lines and all that. Now moving on to my face, I'm going to use my Floss filter and the Morphe 2 skin tint together, just because this shade is a little bit too dark for me and this is a little bit too light, so they just work very well together and give me a nice dewy glow. It all really starts to come together once you start putting foundation on. Like, I feel like before you put foundation on, if you're someone that does your eyes first, I feel like you always kind of look a little bit crazy, you know? Like, you just have to really trust the process when it comes to that, I suppose. Now, doing my Nars Radiant Concealer, I'm just going to put that on the high points of my face. And then I do put a bit underneath where I'm going to contour, because that just makes it look really snatched, you know? Helps everything blend really easily together and makes everything stay in place where it needs to, and it brightens up that area, which makes it look so beautiful. Now I'm going to start blending this out with my Morphe M173 brush. This is amazing for getting under the eyes and placing that concealer exactly where you want it to. Sometimes using a beauty blender, it can kind of just blend in areas where you don't want the concealer to be. And so this is a great kind of starting platform for just kind of blending out your concealer under your eye and placing it where you want it to be and sit. And then I'll go in with a damp beauty blender and just blend it out even more under my eyes, like down here, and just make sure that there's no lines and everything. But this brush fits perfectly in your little eye pocket, and it's super easy to draw on the sides of your nose before you contour. It's just a great brush for blending out concealer. So first just kind of making that line where I want it to, and then dragging it down. I'm still looking a little bit crazy, but now I'm going to dampen my beauty blender and then finish blending out that concealer. And it's just gonna like melt it into my skin really well, but it's great because it won't budge from where we just blended it out with the brush. It's gonna stay right where I wanted to place it. And then for the rest of the face, I'm gonna mainly be using powder products. I'm not gonna be using too many cream products today. So I'm going to set most of my face with the Morphe Brightening Powder and Brightening Pink. And I'm going to take this on this Morphe brush. This is the M1 3.8, I think it is. And I'm just going to set under my eyes. Anywhere where I really put that concealer, that's where I'm going to set first. And then anything that's left over my brush, I'm just gonna pat around my face. Now I'm going to take my Makeup Forever contour powder, and I'm going to just contour my face using the Morphe H2 brush. This powder is freaking amazing. A little bit goes a really long way. And contouring your face, you want to start from the very top of your ear. Ignore my hair. You want to start from the top of your ear and just kind of blend it down to where the bottom of your ear is. So about right there. This is going to cast a shadow. And this you don't want to blend out too much. You want to try and just pack it in to one area to create that sort of shadow. But you're going to be putting bronzer over it anyways. And bronzer you can be much more messy with. Look at my ears. My hair doesn't even stay behind it because I poke out so far. My mom and my dad both have ears like that, so I didn't really have a chance, you know. Definitely got it from both of them. Pretty. And going around the forehead, just on the outer parts of the forehead. Because then bronzer you blend down more towards like the middle of your forehead and all that, but contour you want to stay towards the outer parts of your face. Then contouring the jawline. I'm going to take a pointed fluffy brush like this and just lightly contour my nose. Next, I'm going to take my Amazonian Clay Waterproof Bronzer in Park Avenue Princess. And I'm going to take a really fluffy brush like this. And with bronzer, you can be very messy. You just kind of want to place it on top of where you contoured. So kind of similar area to where you would put blush. But you can just be very messy with this. It doesn't have to be perfect. And with your forehead, you can just put it all over. Down the neck to get rid of any lines. And for Valentine's Day, obviously keeping everything very pink, I'm going to take this Makeup Revolution blush palette. And I think I'm going to use this one today because it's very pink. This is another Morphe brush. Their brushes are just freaking amazing. This is the E4. Just packing that on and putting that on the tops of my cheeks. I also normally put blush anywhere that I put bronzer before. So I do put blush on my forehead, I put it on my nose, I put it a little bit on my chin. But definitely packing it onto the apples of your cheeks. Honestly, in my head, you can't ever really have enough blush because when you think that you wore too much, it's like the perfect amount. Especially because to you it might look crazy, but to other people it looks totally fine. Next, I'm going to take my Rare Beauty highlighter in Enlighten, and I'm just going to put some of this on the back of my hand. And then take a beauty blender, and I'm just going to add that to my cheeks. I like putting on cream products with a beauty blender rather than a brush because I feel that I get more control that way. A bit to my nose, and then a little bit to my Cupid's bow. And then going over that, I'm going to use my Benefit Cookie highlighter just to set that highlight in place. And I'm using a Real Techniques brush. I don't know what brush exactly this is, but I think they normally say it's like a powder brush or something, but I use it always for highlight. So first I'm going to go back in and finish my eyes quick before I do the rest of my face. So taking the Tarte palette again, I'm going to take those two colors that I put in my crease initially as a transition shade, and taking a fluffy brush, I'm going to blend that into my lower lash line. Then taking a more condensed brush, I'm gonna go back in with that blush palette and use this pink shade that we started with. And I'm going to take this condensed brush and put that on my lower lash line. And taking that deep purple shade again that we put in that outer corner, I'm going to take that right in this outer part of my lower lash line. Then taking that fluffier brush again, I'm just going to blend it out. Then since my lashes are so light, I like to thicken them up by using a black liner in my upper waterline. This is just gonna help my lashes appear more full and thick. Ew, look at my lips. They're crusty. I need to get some Aquaphor. Now just curling my lashes before I put on a little bit of mascara. I'm not going to put on too much just because I'm going to put on false eyelashes as well. I'm going to use the Essence Lash Princess. This has like been, I feel like, a viral mascara for a long time, and I bought it like a while ago, like probably a year and a half ago, and I swear it's somewhere in my car. I don't know where, but I lost it, so I bought another one. And it's good, but it is a very wet formula, and so if like you don't give it time to dry, it will transfer to anything that your eyelashes touch. And I'm gonna be cutting my fake eyelashes in half, so it's just gonna be on the end of my eyelashes. So in order to make it look more natural, I'm gonna place a bit more mascara in the inner corner, just so it doesn't seem like it's like hardly any lashes, and then all of a sudden like a glam lash on the ends, you know? Then I'm gonna take these Ardell Demi Wispies. I'm just going to cut off the front of them. These are gone. These ends are staying. I'm gonna use my Duo Clear Lash Glue. I like the lash glue that is like a brush on a lot more. It's so much easier to use than this one. But I only have that one in black, so we're just rolling with this tube. While those are drying down to get tacky, I'm going to put in this NYX Brow Glue. This is just gonna feather up the brows and make them nice and full before you fill them in. I'm literally the worst at putting on eyelashes, so I'm gonna look in this little mirror and I'm just gonna stick those onto the very ends of my lashes. Then I'm going to just push them into my other lashes. That's it. It's not that big of a difference, but it just adds a little something to the ends of your lashes. Now I'm going to do my brows and then do my lips and we'll be finished. So for brows, I'm going to use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil and just go through my brows and fill in any sparse areas. I did tint my brows not that long ago, so they're still a little bit dark and look a little bit more filled in already, just because I tinted them, because normally my eyebrows are really, really light. And for lips, I'm going to use the NYX lip pencil in the shade Mauve. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna expose myself. I am the worst at applying lip liner. I didn't really ever use lip liner until this year, and I am awful at it. But that's like the bug, it never looks good when I do it. Then, sorry, I'm going to take the, I think this is a Milani lipstick in the shade Plum Rose. It's just a really pretty pinky plum color. Well, Cupid's bow is overlined. As good as it's gonna get. I'm gonna take this Maybelline lip gloss in 012 Opal and just put a little bit of that over top. But yeah, so here is the completed makeup look. It's Very girly, very glamorous. It didn't take that long to do. I'll try and do, I like doing more like chit-chatty, get it ready with me videos. I love watching those, so I'm gonna try and film more of those on my channel as well. But if you like this video, if you like this makeup look, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys all have a great Valentine's Day. I hope that you love yourself most of all, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.